What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Leadership Garage. We're committed to your personal and professional development. I'm Craig.
And I'm Mike. And today we have an awesome show for you. And I'm really excited about this. So, Craig, why don't you introduce our awesome special guests?
All right. VIP guests.
VIP, the VIPist.
That's right. VIPist. That's right. Especially because these two beautiful ladies to our left and our right are our wives.
Ooh,
it won't get any more special than this. And they've been putting up with us for a very long time. Donna and I have been married for over 31 years, and you guys have been married almost 19 years, right?
Yeah.
It's 50 years of pain and suffering on their part. But they're not just putting up with us every single day, which makes them very special. They're also, they own their own businesses. They're entrepreneurs. They've been in business in different types of industries for a very long time. And so we're going to tap into that today for the next half hour or so and see what we can learn. So why don't we get started by letting them introduce themselves very briefly, and we'll start with Mary.
Okay. Hey, I'm so excited to be here. So
Awesome.
I have been building my Mary Kay business. I'm a independent sales director with Mary Kay for, I've been there with almost 28 years now. So,
wow.
And it's awesome. I love that I've been able to work it around, family and kids and moving and, have a lot of fun with that. A lot of flexibility.
28 years.
I know, longer than me.
I know. Predates Mike.
Yeah.
Long time.
You're a hero.
And some of that time being a single mom while you were doing it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Single mom. Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, Donna.
Yeah. So I'm Donna. So I am an executive area manager and independent consultant with Arbonne International. We are a global health and wellness company where we offer just people ways and programs to help them become a little more healthy in their life, teach them how to choose make healthier choices, and then also teach them how to do what we do and bring in an additional stream of earnings to help them and their families.
All right. Perfect.
That's awesome. Well, ladies, let's get started. The first question I'd like to ask y'all is, how has your business helped you as a leader, or help you become a leader? I guess let's start with Donna.
Yeah, so I think our business specifically, I believe, is a health and wellness business disguised as a personal development business. And you guys know my story, and just coming from being a high school dropout and a teenage mother, and now working on a doctorate's degree, and and growing through that. I never thought that, I could read more books than I had already read or grow anymore. And so for me, this business specifically, and the community that I surround myself with, I grow every single day.
Right.
And it's taught me to look a little more inward as I'm growing, and I learn more about myself. So I'm able to better lead others on my team.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Mary?
So much personal development, really. It's there's so much growth opportunity and learning people skills and communication and time and money management and so many. It's a little bit of everything. So it really is an amazing growth program to be a part of.
Yeah, I got to imagine after 28 years, though, there's a lot of stumbling around and through all of those,
Life.
a lot of lessons in that leadership growth.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think a lot of times people look at somebody that's as successful at whatever it is that they do, and all you see is that straight, trajectory of straight to the top. And the truth of the matter is there's a lot of, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. In any endeavor that you pursue, you're going to have those, setbacks. You're going to have those obstacles. You're going to have those distractions, and you have to learn how to, move around them and grow past them.
Yeah.
I believe that's where your passion for what you're doing and for helping others comes into play.
Definitely.
Right. And that time management is huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can't manage your own time, it's hard as a leader to, number one, teach others how to manage their time, and then also grow yourself, grow your team, and grow them individually. And that goes right along with making those deliberate decisions every single day. And
That's right.
That discipline that you start with every single day.
Right. Being intentional in your choices.
Can you guys give us an example of how you're intentional and setting up that day, your calendar, your mindset? I mean, is there something that
Absolutely.
you do?
Well, one of the many things that I've learned through the years of Mary Kay is doing what we call our 6 most important things to do list. And it's a list that we create at night before you go to bed. And I kind of do a brain dump into my spiral notebook that I carry around with me all the time and just write out everything I want to accomplish. But then I prioritize the 6 most important things so that I can tackle them first thing when I get up and my, feet hit the ground. I know what I'm focused on. I know what I need to do. I know what my priorities are. And I've found the opposite. When I don't write those down, I can wake up and go, oh man, there was something I wanted to do today. And gosh, I don't know what it was. So, and just have kind of a more confused day.
Right.
So I definitely prefer being able to scratch those things off my list as I go and have that sense of accomplishment.
Right.
Yeah, it is a super huge sense of accomplishment when you check those things off your top,
Absolutely.
tips for success for the day. And I think for me, going along with that is the night before, right, is knowing what I have planned out for the next day, right? Like you said, you have the 6 most important things. So before I go to bed tonight, all right, tomorrow's Monday, where am I starting? What am I doing? And for me, I start, very early in the morning. And I start with my quiet time and my prayer time and some reading. I'll get in some meditation. And for me, that sets me up for my day. So those things that are on that list that I know I need to do, I feel like I can attack them more intentionally.
Absolutely.
And like you said, if I don't do them, then sometimes I feel like I'm lost. Like my day is already ahead of me because I did not do that.
Right. Right. So you mentioned a bunch of different leadership characteristics earlier. Do you have one that you think is most important? What's the one that has set you up for the most success in your Mary Kay career, your Arbonne career?
Wow. Honestly, I think learning communication skills and working with different personalities, because people come from all different walks of life. So being able to work with all different personality styles, all different, lifestyles, and communicating with people has definitely been probably one of the biggest skills that has helped me.
Is that self-taught for you, or trial and error?
Well, no. I mean, we've had a lot of really intentional training on working with different personality styles and learning those styles, learning your own styles, but also learning other people's styles and how to be relatable and connect with people. And it's important to be a connector and find out, what are their needs? What do they want? How can I help you? How can this business help you meet those needs, or the products help you meet those needs? That's really what it boils down to, because when you find what their needs are and you help meet those needs, that's where people are drawn to you, right? And they want to keep coming back, because really the ultimate goal is to help them. For me, it's to help them look and feel their best, but also to help make that long-term difference, to help make a difference.
Right.
And if they leave your space feeling better about themselves than they felt when they came in, they always, they want to come back to that, right? I mean, we're all drawn to that. We're drawn to people that make us feel really great about ourselves, right? So definitely.
Yeah. Hence the people you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
Yeah. As for me, I think being resilient is a really good one. It goes along with, because you're going to have setbacks. You're going to hit bumps in the road, right? And you're going to have to learn how to pick yourself up, right? And move on. But that goes along with, being able to lead yourself well enough in that communication and understanding that everyone is different. Everyone is not like you. Everyone's not like me, right? We're all our own unique individuals, and understanding that, someone else's leadership style is going to be different than mine. So I can't, in my own opinion, I cannot lead every single person the same exact way.
Right.
They all have different needs. They all have different communication styles. They have different desires. They all have different goals, right? And so for me, it's that being resilient and understanding. Sometimes I might, shove my own foot in my own mouth, right? And stumble and fall because I wasn't paying enough attention. I wasn't being intentional enough in understanding this person that may be completely different than me, and having to be resilient enough and humble enough to say, all right, I've made a mistake. I stumbled. How can I be resilient enough to pick myself back up and attack this again, maybe from a different way? So I get, out of it what I want, because the person standing in front of me, I'm going to be able to help them better.
Right.
Well, you said something earlier, Donna, just a minute ago about leading yourself. So, how difficult is it to lead yourself in this business? What are some things that you can tell the folks, about leading yourself?
Well, I think for me that it really is first of all, being clear on my why, my purpose, and my goals, and really that, we're encouraged to dream big and set big goals. And then when you understand your why behind it, it really helps keep you motivated and focused and on track. And then once you have that clear vision of what you want, then, really setting yourself up for success, breaking it down into bite-sized pieces, not just the long-term goal of, eventually I want to do this, but really like break it down to what do I need to do today to get that, next step closer towards whatever it is I want to accomplish.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah.
I was like so drawn into what Mary was saying. I forgot the question.
Oh, no worries. You mentioned earlier about leading yourself. And so, how difficult is it to get up in the morning and do those things? How difficult is it to lead yourself to accomplish your goals in this business?
Yeah, it can be really difficult. And that's not to say that, because you have what people on the outside may think you figured it out.
Right.
We stumble and fall. I stumble and fall
Absolutely.
every day. But it's being intentional about what I know I want out of my life, for my family, for this business, for the people that will come into this business or cross my path that I can help. Right. So if I'm not intentional about doing those things that I know that will accomplish that for me, again, it all just falls flat, right? And that goes back to your understanding your why. I think if you come into this business or you attack anything in life and you don't understand why you're doing it, you can't do it. You can't give it 100%, right? You're not gonna reach the end goal that you intend to.
Right. It sounds like you've fallen so many times you might want to actually give a bow call. Just kidding. Just kidding.
When
Folks.
you own your own business, that's one of the tricks.
Well, I just to piggyback on what you're saying too, I think so much of it is that self-discipline and I something that is a skill you guys totally have. And just, I admire so much about you is that self-discipline, but also finding that joy zone, working in your joy zone. So you're not, it's not drudgery. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm excited. I can't wait to get out there and meet new people and help them achieve their goals. And I can't wait to get out there and have that sense of accomplishment for myself. But also we know that part of that why is bettering our family, and really bettering that trajectory of our future for us and our families. So, I mean, all of that boils down to that daily intentionality and being disciplined for sure.
I love it. And finding joy in the journey.
Absolutely.
You hear this all the time, and this is not new, finding your why, your purpose. And some people will say, that's just really hard.
Yeah,
it's really hard. And you've fallen into a business for 28 years that you absolutely love, and clearly it gives you purpose and you really enjoy it. Donna, you've worked in all kinds of different industries and done many different types of jobs. And here you are, many years later, and now with Arbonne for about 3 years and finding purpose in Arbonne. Sometimes the journey to why is just that. It takes time.
Yeah.
And people ask me a lot about that journey. And I just say, you got to keep trying. You got to keep doing different things, reinventing yourself, be innovative in what your life looks like. Do things that make you uncomfortable. We've talked about this. If you think you'll hate skydiving, go skydiving, because you never know. Maybe that's where your purpose lies, is in something that you really
And if it's not, you only find out you only need to do it once.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You've only jumped out of a perfectly good airplane one time in your life. You can say you did it. That's right. One thing I appreciate so much about both of you guys, we've talked about this in detail, off camera, but both of you have this giving soul. You do this because you want, I could see it in your eyes, when you talk to your customer base, how much you want for them, and it's just, I appreciate it so much. And sometimes we even talked about that in our formula, how giving, how important that is. But for you two, it's just evident, very evident every single day. You talk about how it makes you feel when you can really connect with somebody, especially if they've had shaken confidence or they're really trying to find themselves, and you can help them do that.
Absolutely. Well, and one of my personal mottos that comes from a leader and mentor, Mary Kay, is making an external difference, making an internal difference, an external difference, and an eternal difference. And really that's what it boils down to. And so, we approach every person, and part of our training too is imagine every person has a sign around their neck that says, "Make me feel important." And so if you approach every person with that mindset, how can I make you feel important? Then everything, it just kind of falls into place. And that's really what it's about. And one of my team members right now, through this COVID process, has found, reinvented herself and refound purpose and excitement through her business. And it's so fun to see that and just encourage that in people. And really that's what we get to be, is that voice of encouragement and really lifting people up and telling them you can do this, and empowering them. It really is. It's such an exciting process, but we get to do that because others have done that for us and to us and brought us along and encouraged us and continue to do that. Right. So it really is that just, paying it forward and just, making people feel important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And the empowerment, right? And so all of that comes with its own set of setbacks, right? Because we empower these people because those have gone before us, right? And have poured into us, right? It's like who you surround yourself with, right? If I surround myself with people who don't pour into my cup, how am I going to have anything to pour out of that cup into others? Right. And sometimes, that can come back and kick us in the butt when, maybe someone has a setback, right? That we've empowered, we've encouraged, we've coached, and they can't get past that fear. And it holds them back. Sometimes we allow it to bother us too much.
Sure.
Right. When that's really not our responsibility. Right. We've given what we were supposed to give, but we have to continue to be that encourager and give them what they need. Right. And love them where they are. Right. And understanding fear is just a feeling, right? It's going to pass, just like time. It's going to pass.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. It really is. What are, because it sounds like these things that you're talking about, helping the folks and making that connection and making people feel important are motivating factors to y'all. So what other motivating factors do you have to keep a business like this? Because, you have to pick up and leave sometimes, and so in y'all's business, you can do that easily. However, what are some other motivating factors that in your business that y'all can share?
So motivating, oh my gosh, you can do it from anywhere. That's a big one for me, because I'd always, as a military spouse for over 29 years, I had to reinvent myself every time we moved. Right. And we moved 18 times, I think. Right. And I'd always thought, man, I wish I had something just like he had on the other end. Right. There's a job waiting for you instead of having to recreate myself every time. So for me, I believe that's a big one. And, giving back is huge for me. And especially pouring into others. They feel their worth. Right. They know they're valued. Things that I had always wanted. right? As I was growing in age, growing in my, personal life, growing in my professional life, growing in our marriage, raising our children, all of those things that I desired, is my purpose, my calling in life is to do that, be that person for others.
What about you, Mary? What do you do to keep motivated?
So, I mean, again, that goes back to, you don't always wake up feeling excited and positive and perky. I do know that my number one strength is positivity. But I still struggle sometimes with that. And so some of the things just that I've learned through the years to put into place is affirmations and having personal affirmations, professional affirmations, but affirmations in my own voice that I've recorded that I listen to, that helps tremendously. Also having a dream book or a goal poster or a vision board, but having those visuals of what it is that going back to, this is why I'm doing this, so even if this is hard, even if I don't feel like it, that brings me back to the motivation. But there's, external motivators too. Staying plugged in, staying plugged into the workshops that are available to you are huge. Staying plugged into your mentors and leaders when you're struggling, you have to reach up. You can't reach out sideways because you end up bringing people down with you, So reaching up for that help is huge too. But I love music. So that if I am struggling, I just will put on some really fun, exciting music that I love. And it really helps me get back into the focus.
That's
but
really
it is. And sometimes we struggle and have those pity parties or feel bad for ourselves or whatever, but it's also, learning too, that it's part of the process. We all struggle with those different feelings of not feeling equipped or not feeling like I'm capable or whatever. And you have to learn how to work through those feelings to get back to the other side of excitement and, okay, now I can go. So it's just, training yourself to do that.
And there's a lot of learning in that process.
Absolutely.
Both of those are really good points, training and learning. To be able to do that. I think that's absolutely key.
Absolutely.
This takes time. This is not something you do overnight. I think the difference, and we've talked about this in our previous podcast, is, the social media world that we live in kind of creates this altered reality. And so not only are you trying to learn and train your mind to do that, but you have this external source, to your point, Mary, that can be sometimes so negative and really draws us out of that, that learning and training mindset, the intentionality that you talk about.
Right.
And it's so easy to get sucked right back into that and not really stay real intentional to your goal.
See, it's an important part. That's something that you bring up, that if you allow yourself to get into that and you get sucked into the social media vortex, it can be very disheartening, because everybody's putting out their best or their made up best, and then we get put in that place of comparison and we start comparing our worst to their best. And it can be detrimental really to your focus. So I very recently, probably in the last couple of months, I've just been very intentional to not go on hardly at all and not watch the news. Not that I don't want to stay informed, but just being, okay, I'll give myself a couple minutes here, but this is my reason and purpose for being on here, and then try to get off of it as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And that goes back to that in being very intentional, right? And that intentionality of what you're doing, because it is so easy to just mindlessly scroll on social media.
Absolutely.
But when you have that mindset and that intentionality set, you're like, well, wait a minute, this is not why I was on here. I got sucked in for a little bit, but let's roll on.
Right. But you have to have it, though. I mean, you really can't run your business.
Yeah.
Neither one of your businesses to run without social media.
Absolutely.
You would have to have it.
Right.
It has to be, again, being intentional when you're on there.
Right. But my where I go for business is specifically for business. It's not, I'm not, scrolling and looking, and I just,
Right.
Ladies, both of y'all are in the top 10% of your business, so how would y'all define your success, or what's your definition of success?
For me, I think it's just being better than every day than I was the day before. Right. And that growing and that learning process and knowing where I came from.
Right.
And being very humble about where I came from to where I am, and understanding that I don't ever want to have an I have arrived mentality.
Right.
Because there's more growing.
Yeah.
There's more growing every single day.
Right. And you really never get to a place where you've arrived. It's all part of that, enjoying the journey, like you said. And I think honestly, for me, it's like having that attitude of gratitude. Like every day, what am I grateful for? There's so many. It doesn't matter what's going on in your circumstances or the world around you. There's so much to be grateful for. And really staying focused on all, like you said, how far you've come and all that we have to be thankful for. I get excited.
That's
about
success.
That.
Yeah.
It's so funny. When I was visited Amazon with my boss when I was in the military. We were doing some manpower personnel stuff, and we have some education with industry students that are out visiting Amazon. And so we went and visited Seattle, and which you guys are very familiar with being from that area. But the name of the building is the Day One building.
I love this
because they treat every day as if it's day one in Amazon. It's kind of that same mentality, that you,
I like that.
Today you have to build for tomorrow. And then tomorrow, you don't remember what happened to yesterday. You build for the next day. It's almost like an athlete's mentality on the court or the field. You make a bad play, you have to let it go.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You have to erase it immediately because, just a few seconds later, the next play is
They're counting on
coming.
you.
That's right. And it's very much the same, I think, in your guys' business.
Right.
You're
it's also,
looking to be better.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's also not like sitting back going, re-celebrating those wins over and over again. Yeah, that's great. But what's next?
Right.
Keep moving forward.
The forward mentality.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get, they're always looking backwards.
On the glory days or the
Yeah. Or if they had some real struggles and
Yeah.
challenges in the past, and it kind of comes.
Or they
back on.
compare, whenever you're comparing to somebody, because, our careers, I feel, were successful. They were two different careers.
Absolutely.
We impacted a bunch of people differently, and so if we're comparing, with somebody else, we seem to forget about the definition of success,
Right.
like how did I impact somebody? And then I look back and I'm like, oh, well, I definitely impacted somebody.
Absolutely.
So I think it's important that you don't compare, don't get caught in that compare mentality.
And your success for yourself, what you feel like is success for you, may not be what someone viewing you thinks success looks like.
Right.
Right. Or someone looking in, on the outside looking in may think, gosh, they're so successful.
Mm-hmm.
It looks so easy, where internally, right, I'm thinking, today wasn't that successful for me.
Yeah.
It was a lot harder than
Yeah.
it looked. Yeah. But
Absolutely.
I think you guys make it look easy even on the hard days because you're
Right.
so used to it. I mean, let's face it. I mean, we're more mature and you've have a ton of experience at this. And so over time, though, talking about the incline, the steps that you're constantly taking every day. Well, once you face these challenges in your life and you do them 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 times, the steps get easier, right? Because you've faced those challenges before and you can get over them this time, just like you did last time. I think that's hard for, younger people. Sometimes they don't have those opportunities. It's the first time they face these challenges and then they're really trying to figure out how they get through them, which to your point earlier is how do you stay very intentional and motivated, when you have those early setbacks, right? So speaking of that, what were some challenges that you faced early that you had to overcome, to be a leader in your business?
Well, I think a big part of it is that comfort zone. We all have whatever that definition is of our comfort zone, and learning to stretch outside of that comfort zone, and build skills or confidence in a different area. And so I think one of the biggest things that probably would have held me back was the fear of what other people thought of me. And that rejection too, just knowing, not everybody's going to say yes, and, embrace you with open arms and, be your best customer. That's just isn't normal. It's just not going to happen. And so learning how to deal with the no's, and learning how to not take it personally and be willing to continue to stretch outside of that comfort zone, because every level of success that you get to becomes a new comfort zone, and so to grow, you have to stretch outside of that next comfort zone. But I think a big thing too is understanding that I think especially for younger people, I look at our oldest children and just their generation, and a lot of them are disillusioned into thinking it should be easy. And I guess because, as maybe their parents or something, they see our level of success where we're at in our lives right now, and they want it right now, right? But they haven't done the hard stuff, right? And I heard John Maxwell one time say that, if you want to be where I'm at, are you willing to do what I did to get here? And that's really what it boils down to. Are you willing to do what it takes to get where we are and beyond?
Yeah. And I know you've obviously had a ton of challenges. I had a front row seat to most of them. I probably caused half of them, but
for me, if I had left quitting on the table from the get-go, it would have definitely
like that was an option.
Right.
Yeah.
If it were an option, I would have said, like, again, our older children's generation, this is too hard. I'm quitting.
Right.
I'm just walking away.
Right.
Right. And not understanding that right around the corner, right? They never quit on your worst day because you're never going to quit on a good day. So you're just not allowed to quit on a bad day. Right. Because right around the corner could be your next level of success or the next person's life that you're going to change. Right. So it absolutely would have held me back if I had left quitting on the table. When it got too hard, I would have just said, this is too hard. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
And then the chain reaction that, would have happened after that with my current team or, my future team or my current clients or my future clients, what would happen to them?
Right.
Right. If I had left quitting on the table, it wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
I immediately took that off of the table, and it matters a lot.
Yeah.
It matters a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and that's something that we discussed early on in marriage, being that we have both been married before, is that divorce is not an option. So when it gets hard, and it does, we're going to work through this, and I think oftentimes that generation, and it's not just to pick on that generation, but oftentimes people think, well, this is too hard, so it must not be the right thing. So,
Well, see, I've seen it through not just their generation. It's everybody's
I
generation.
agree.
Right.
It really is.
But having the mentality of, I can do hard things. Like, if you need to make that an affirmation, do so, because I can do hard things. So when it gets tough, just like you said, you got to keep pushing through. But what's exciting is on the other side of it, there is that huge growth of confidence and, that personal, like, yes, I did this, and you look back and go, I never thought I could do that. And this is awesome.
Yeah. One thing I noticed in both of your businesses is you have this amazing network of, women leaders and leaders in general that just, you have self-affirmation, but you have this team that just is amazing. I mean, they really lift you guys up. I've been to several conferences with Donna, and Mike's been with Mary as well. And even I come out of there going, man, this is amazing.
It is.
Give me some makeup.
I know. We can work on that. We're on a podcast.
Yeah.
But it really is. So how important is that? I mean, you
Huge.
talk about earlier said, when you're down, you got to reach up.
Absolutely.
But having those powerful folks around you that just speak life into you every day has to be beneficial.
Absolutely. It's so important. But
Well, you just had a weekend this weekend.
But,
So
yeah.
how was that?
I'm coming off of a huge high. It was awesome.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's those relationships that you build with those people. And like you've said several times, you become like the people you spend the most time with. And so, when I first started really learning that, I started really looking at who am I hanging out with? And do I want my life to look like theirs? And there were some people that I had to remove from my life.
Right.
Because that was not the direction I wanted to go. And so it is super important to surround yourself with people that are where you want to be or are going where you want to go. And yeah, just that encouragement is so important. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, it goes along with that filling your cup. Nobody wants to be around drama all the time. Or it's just like social media. What happens to you if that's all you hear, all you see, all you subject yourself to, right? It's going to bring you down, whether you say, oh, I can handle this or not, right? So then those people they're taking from your cup instead of filling your cup. So then my cup becomes empty and I have nothing to pour out into anyone else, right? So setting those healthy boundaries and understanding that sometimes you had to really internally look and say, okay, this person, may I felt significantly mean something to me, but this is a boundary that I have to set for my life, for my family's life, if I want to continue to grow.
Right.
Ladies, we're getting towards the end of the time. If there was one thing that you could tell somebody, what is the one thing you would tell somebody about your business or leadership through your business?
I would have to say, don't ever quit, because it's so worth it. It's so worth it on the other side. Just keep going, one step and, one foot in front of the other, keep going.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You're worthy enough, you're valued enough.
Yeah.
And just keep going.
Yeah.
Awesome. So important. I mean, it sounds easy,
Right.
not real easy to execute, but if you can remember those words every day, that affirmations, pin them up on your car, put them in your, the mirror in your bathroom, whatever you have to do to remind yourself that you are worthy, you are valuable, you can do this. And eventually it just sinks in.
Right.
And you can take that one down and put the next one up and continue to grow and develop. And then you'll end up being as successful as these two young ladies.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you, Mary. Thank you, Miss
Thanks for
Donna.
having
We
us.
appreciate you.
This is awesome.
Really
Okay.
fun.
Awesome.
Thank you, team.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed it.
And we will see you all in a couple weeks.
Sounds good. Take care.